Welcome in, everybody, to Leading Off right here on Fantasy Pros. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia. That, of course, is Dinger Dan Harris, a.k.a. Big Sexy, and it's you! And we're talking all things baseball this morning, as we always do on Fantasy Pros MLB. Check us out, subscribe to the channel. It's not too late. It's never too late, because baseball is still going to be going on here all year round. I know football season's coming. Yes, that's great. But don't worry, we're not going to leave you completely hanging with the baseball like a lot of other places like to do. Dan Harris, my Blue Jays, win another game. This is good. Yes, my Blue Jays. I'm adopting them now as my team.
Oh boy.
That's it. I've had it with the Mets. I'm all Toronto, baby. Let's go. I got my maple syrup and my Mountie hat. I'm ready to kick some butt. And obviously the Dodgers with another blow to the offense, potentially. So a lot to dissect this morning, my friend. How are you? It's nice to see you this morning.
It's so great to see you, considering we're the only two healthy members of the Fantasy Pro Society. There's a lot of backstory, guys, that's going on today. Legit, we have analysts all over the place, of course, at this company, and one by one, they are dealing with things that prevent them from doing their duty. So Joe and I are going to wrap ourselves in like bubble wrap and just be very careful just to not get injured, because we're basically all you guys have left. So I'm very glad to be here. Very glad to have not gotten hit by a bus today. So let's keep it going.
Don't go outside, Dan.
I'm not going anywhere. It's the Final Destination. It's coming. I know. It's
I told you, I was actually very proud of the comment that I made. This channel's becoming like a murder mystery dinner.
It was very funny.
That's pretty funny. That's a good line. Yeah, before I had my coffee. That's pretty good. But let's get you up to date with everything going on baseball-wise. Let's start with the ups and the downs. Buster Posey reaches base 5 times in the Giants' victory, so the Giants cannot be stopped. By the way, do you remember the last time a catcher won the MVP?
The last time a catcher won the Pudge?
No, it was Buster Posey. Trick question.
Oh, right.
See what I did there?
Posey.
Oh, yeah.
This is great, by the way. As a really, really old person, it's really nice to see somebody like Posey, who was basically written off. You know, and I remember, Joe, we talked about it in the draft season where we were a little bit like, he's coming off, like, he's like 2 years off of the hip surgery, right? He had the hip surgery, and so last year you were kind of like, well, he opted out, so, who knows what we could see. And really, a lot of his decline seems to have been based on health, and he looks fantastic. It's awesome to see.
I'm going to take a year off just like him next year.
Okay,
just see how it goes. I'm going to be so good.
No, you're all we have left.
I'm literally last man standing, Joey P. I'm like Tom Brady, though. No matter, they said I was going to be done 5 years ago, 7 years ago. Nope, still here. Can't get rid of me. Still winning championships. Griffin Jax.
I'm more like Josh McCown. I'm like the body that's here.
That's exactly who. And everybody loves you and thinks that you're better than you are.
Correct. No, nobody has any idea how terrible I actually am. They like me because I crack a joke and I'm always there and I show up and I'm 90 years old, so it's perfect.
Yeah, you show up, you do good stuff, and then you sit in the background and everyone goes, "Oh man, I wish we had more Dan Harris." That is the perfect analogy. Oh, that was so good. I want to bottle that. Can we get a clip of that, please?
Yeah.
Griffin Jax, by the way, who may or may not be a Mortal Kombat character, struck out 10 in a win over the White Sox. John Gray with 9, but he did allow 4 runs and ended up losing that game, unfortunately. The downs, Akil Baddoo getting checked for concussions, shoulder issues at a collision yesterday, and the Phillies put home run RBI leader Rhys Hoskins on the 10-day IL. Also, the Dodgers and Mookie Betts, another injury stint for him. It looks like that's coming. Very probable with that hip. This is a bigger problem. I want to talk about this because Mookie Betts is the style of player that is historically somebody who doesn't age well. This is it's not me. I love Mookie Betts. His name is Mookie, for God's sakes, okay? Just right off the bat, anybody named Mookie, I have an affinity for. He's a wonderful player, an incredible talent, all these things, but he is a player that is based on speed, athleticism, all those things in his body, right? And those players typically, frame-wise, as they get into their 30s, become difficult investments. I always thought the Red Sox made the right decision, and I knew it was going to bite them early, but I wonder if it's the better long-term decision that they moved on from him. Yes, the Dodgers got their World Series out of it, so that's definitely worth it for them, but you're looking at this contract and looking at him in terms of keeper value in dynasty leagues and keeper leagues. What do you think about Mookie Betts right now? Let's open the doors to a conversation, if we will, about Mookie Betts' long-term value here, and if you do have concerns, does he start to fall out of that top 5, even top 10 realm for you going forward?
No, I will say that I don't know what hip issue is exactly. I hope everyone can hear the garage door. Gave the wife full reign to come on in. But regardless, it's our thing. I don't know what the hip issue is. Okay, obviously it sounded like it was something that he was okay and coming back, and the fact that he's now probably going back on the IL, not definitely, but probably, is concerning. But long term, Joe, that's interesting because to me, this is really the first time. I mean, I'm looking at his games played, 55 last year, 150 before that. He had 1 year again in 2018 where he played 136, but other than that, it's over 145. He's not battled injury. He's still only 28. This is not something where long term I'm concerned, but interesting that you think that this is something that we should impact. Because for me, I haven't moved him at all in my dynasty rankings whatsoever. I view this as a one-off, not something where it's indicative of him starting to break down at such a young age. But you do?
I do, because I've seen it before with these younger players, like of that ilk, like the guys that have really, explosive athletic bodies and stuff like that, but are a little on the smaller side, and they play a very hard style because they run so much. And once those, we could even go back. I know you're gonna laugh. He's not the same player that Mookie Betts is, but Jose Reyes. People forget just how incredibly exciting that player was from a fantasy standpoint. He had some pop. He had incredible speed. He was a great shortstop. Now, granted, he played the infield position, so a little bit more wear and tear on a player in the infield than the outfield. That's a good thing for Mookie. But people forget about that. And then it was almost like all of a sudden in a snap, all of it kind of started to fall away. And I'm using him as an example. There's many other I could pull up there, if I really start to do the homework on it a little bit more. But it's something I'm at least concerned about, and I think it's worth monitoring and looking at your roster and understanding, okay, going forward next year, maybe I shouldn't value him as a top 5 overall player because maybe there is a little bit more risk in there involved. By the way, shout out to the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks for coming up with another Mookie that I love. Mookie Blaylock, who I met in person in New Jersey and got his autograph when I was a kid. Very cool. So all the Mookies. I'm here for all the Mookies, Dan, no matter what. Some good news with some pitchers coming back. Jack Flaherty will return to the Cardinals rotation after, 7 years with an oblique injury. He's finally back. This is great. That's going to be, on Friday he's going to be back. And then Garrett Cole could rejoin the Yankee rotation this weekend. And then, of course, back to the Mike Trout saga, where Joe Madden said on Tuesday, there's nothing new regarding Mike Trout's rehab of the calf injury. So, Dan Harris, this is another top 5 talent. Mike Trout, Mookie Betts. Who would you rather in 2022? Yeah, I got the eye roll. I have succeeded. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out.
So I will still, my guess is, again, I have not done, in case you haven't noticed, my 2022 draft ranking.
Well, we're a little busy right now. We're all just trying to stay alive. It's like this final destination.
I'm going to work on it immediately after. But here's the deal. I had Betts ahead of Trout coming into this year. And a big reason wasn't as much the injury concerns with Trout. It was much more about the lack of stolen bases. Now that he's basically going to miss the vast majority of this year with a calf injury, I can't ever imagine that we're going to see that spike in stolen bases that we've seen before after a dip. And realistically, you want to talk about injury concerns. I mean, Trout basically played the full mini season last year, 134, 140, 114 games the prior 3 seasons. He does miss time now, and this is sort of a thing. Betts, this is really the first time in a while that he's kind of missing time. So I don't have concerns about Betts whatsoever. I do have concerns about Trout and the fact that I think that he's going to, the stolen bases are gone forever. By the time next year rolls around, he'll be entering his age 31 season for a guy who plays hard. He's a big guy too. He's got that.
It's weird Trout. That he's not even 30. It's almost like you can't even fathom.
He just turned 30.
He just turned 30, right? Yeah.
The other day, yeah. To me, I love Trout. He'll still be a first-round player. I don't care because he's as talented as anybody in the game when he plays. But in terms of the differentiation between the really top guys and sort of a guy now, unfortunately, like Trout, is the stolen bases with Ronald Acuna, who, again, who knows what we're going to see next year, given it. But Betts is still going to steal. So he's going to fall beyond Betts for me, but they're both going to be first-round picks very easily.
Yeah, they're going to be first-round picks, and they're going to be a fascinating value, I think, depending on the league you're playing in. Yeah. If you're in a 10-team league or something like that, you take the risk every day. You take the risk because the replacement value is higher. In those deeper leagues, when you're starting to look at the guys on the board, and maybe tomorrow's probably a good day to do this because it'll be a Thursday slate, it'll be a lighter slate. I think we go back and do our first-round mock again because if you think about this aspect of the game right now, we're in a spot where if you're in a 14-team league and Rafael Devers is on the board, and Mike Trout's on the board. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you've really got to stop and think about.
I think that the problem is, Joe, like, let's go through the first round right now where you started, right? Let's say Acuna was number one. He's obviously out for the season. We'll see what he does next year. You've got Tatis, who I guess is going to come back and play full-time.
He's going to have surgery, though. He's going to have
surgery. And actually, Joe, that's going. He's probably going to be the number one pick next year because that's going to make me feel much better about his outlook. If he's still going to do I'm going to rehab this, and then I'm randomly going to take a swing or dive for a ball, and my shoulder's going to pop out. Going to be very concerned. If he has surgery to address, I'll feel fine. But he missed a ton of time this year. Betts has missed time this year. Soto has missed time this year. Trout has missed the vast majority of the season. I mean, this has been a really, really difficult fantasy season, as we know, in terms of injuries. DeGrom now obviously gone. I mean, Cole's been a little in and out. Who knows? But yeah, it's been a weird year for me for the most part. Trout is, regardless of the stolen bases, he's as good a hitter as anybody in the game, so he's going to stay in that first round, realm. But it's certainly behind kind of the upper echelon guys for me.
It's very interesting because we're going from a year where we thought the first round was really, really deep to a first round where all of a sudden it's really in question. It's actually the same path we had with the NFL last year, where last year I think everybody looked at first round and it's so deep. There's so many guys who could challenge, for a top 5 spot, and then they all got hurt. And now this year everyone's panicked trying to figure it out. I feel like that's going to be 2022 baseball.
A guy who will, my guess is in the top 5. And if we redo the first round, I'm sure I will take him there, is Trey Turner, who's going to be on the Dodgers. And
I finally have to do that. Yeah, I finally have to. Yep. Fine, Trey Turner's good. Yeah. I did like that slide that he had a couple nights ago in San Fran. That was pretty.
I think that was last night, wasn't it, or was it the other night? I don't know. I saw it last night. That was the coolest. He's just cool, man. Whatever.
It was like the Fonzie of slides.
Yeah, it's very cool. Cool.
All right, more standouts from yesterday. Freddie Peralta, 5 1/3. He only needs 5 innings to be awesome. 8 Ks against the Cubs. Now, I granted it is the Cubs, but the Brewers are putting an ass whooping on the Cubs. There, I said it. An ass whooping on the Cubs.
How dare you?
2.26 ERA, 0.91 WHIP on the year for Freddie Peralta. Here's the question for you, Daddy boy. You want Garrett Cole in the second round or Freddie Peralta in the 4th next year?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You're thinking about it. Come on.
I'll probably take Cole. Just because, again, Freddie Peralta is fantastic, but the Dan Harris way of fantasy managing.
I know.
You've got to do it for 6 years. You've got to have some sort of major injury that requires reconstructive surgery. Then I'm going to want to draft you for sure. So I'll probably go with Cole. But look, Peralta, and again, the big thing with Peralta right now is we talked about this a lot. So sorry if I have steered people astray, which is it looked like they were like, all right, man, we've got this lead. We're going to just back off. You're going to have.
Well, they are back. They have backed off him, but it doesn't matter. He's still good enough.
We basically had 90 pitches yesterday. They weren't like, we're going to take you out after 5, man. Like, we're going to be easy. It was like, you have reached your limit because of a normal pitch count. They're still letting him go right now, which is pretty remarkable. I mean, they have to stay ahead of the Reds. The Reds close the gap a little bit, but he's going to have value the rest of the year. And for next year, again, this is not fluky. This is, he just basically was like, I'm not going to be a one-pitch pitcher anymore. So this was the guy going in late to drafts. There were 2 guys. It was Carlos Rodon, who had a really good spring, which I was terrified but willing to go because it was cheap. And Freddie Peralta, who I drafted everywhere in every mock we did because I was like, well, what does it cost us to find out? Nothing. I cannot wait to mock all the time next year, Joe, in the draft season, man. We have to do so many mock drafts. You know what? We also have to have mock drafts with Peanuts and Cracker Jack.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so
many
much
guys.
So much room for activities on Discord. It's going to be amazing. J Hap with a good start.
I don't know.
It was the Pirates. Let's not freak out. 5 Ks. Salvador Perez, 2 dingers for him. Nice game, boy. Sal Perez having a great season too. I love me some Sally Perez. Eduardo Escobar, 8 Ks. We were afraid of him. He was very good yesterday. ERA still at 5.24, so we had reason to be afraid. Drew Smiley, Dan's favorite guy, 7 Ks, 2 runs against the Reds. Alex Colomé, 4th save in a week. And Jake Odorizzi, 5 shutout innings, 3 Ks against the Rockies. And Anthony Santander, 2 home runs, who's been a value in DFS for weeks now. How many times have I mentioned Santander, it feels like, as a value? I don't know why the algorithm hates him. He's just a better player than he's played this year, so just keep plugging him out there, and eventually things will be okay. Things were not good for these guys. Matt Barnes, 2/3 of an inning, 4 runs. Sean Manaea, what's going on here? Here we go. This happened literally the start after I said, it's okay, it's safe to go out and Sean Manaea. And now it's not. Now it's not. I take it all back. I'm sorry I said it, everybody. I was wrong. Sean Manaea, 1 2/3, 3 runs, 2 Ks against the Guardians of the Galaxy. Casey Mize, 4 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned. Zach Gallen, 5 runs. No surprise there. What a disappointment. I had such high hopes for Zach Gallen and the injuries, and it just seems like nothing can go right for the Diamondbacks. And speaking of that, Alex Wood, 5 runs, 5 Ks. So he was the scary GPP pick, and he blew up yesterday. So what looked like it could have been a nice night of baseball was not, after all. So be it. Dan, your thoughts on these downs, and how about Sean Manaea? Can we pile on here, please?
It is annoying. I mean, look, on the season, he's got a 3.43 ERA and a 1.21 WHIP. It's hard to get too upset about it. The one, look, you want that silver lining with the way the A's managed him is that his like getting destroyed. I mean, in the end, he was terrible yesterday. He gave up 3 runs. When he was bad the start before, he gave up 5 runs. That's not something that completely buries you. Like when Luis Castillo goes out there and gives up 8 runs, that's something that you're like, oh God, I can't really deal with this.
But I've gotten good whole seasons from Castillo on more than one occasion. Sean Manaea gives you these good months, and then you're like, okay, finally I'm going to buy in. And then he does this, and it drives me crazy, and I want to throw something at my television.
Okay, Manaea has had more than just like a good month or something like that. He's had a very, very fine season. But I agree, there's something about him that you and I have not been willing, or until we were willing to
Until we were.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Now, if you want to give him any sort of pass, it's the fact that, look, his blow up against the Padres to start before, he had just pitched against them. I always favor the hitters in those situations when they've just seen a pitcher and they can adjust to it. So the fact that they kind of hit him hard, a little bit more of the adjustment, and the Indians, I'm still calling them the Indians for now. They'll be the Guardians.
I'm practicing. I told you.
That's fine. He had just faced them as well. So, and apparently they're hitting, by the way. I don't know what they bombed Castillo the day before. So who the heck knows with that? So
well, they got some bats in there.
I will tell you somebody I am a little worried about, and Mayer is not here today. He texted, he said he would not be able to show up. But I am a little worried.
What a surprise with the way the trend's been going.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He's ill. He got hit by a horse and buggy. I'm a little worried about Matt Barnes. Okay. And I don't look, Matt Barnes has had a really, really amazing season. Suddenly his ERA is 3.52. That's a little crazy to me. He's allowed 7 runs over his last 2 innings pitched. And the Red Sox are scuffling a little bit. I think Matt Barnes has certainly earned his way into a much bigger leash than something like that. But they do have Adam Ottavino, who, despite a high whip, has been very solid. So if Barnes struggles again for 1, maybe 2 save, this wasn't even a save opportunity. But if he struggles in a couple more appearances, you could see them sort of temporarily make a switch. So I'd really like to see Barnes lock down his next opportunity.
Good question here from Joe Venditti, my people. Thoughts on taking a risk on Jack Flaherty? I can trade for him as a rental. Yeah, take the shot. I mean, what do you have to lose? As long as it doesn't cost you too much long term, I would absolutely go ahead and take the shot there. Cardinals are not really playing for anything, but I mean, a little bit of pride there. And you don't have to worry about innings when it comes to Jack Flaherty. I mean, just let him go.
If he's healthy, he should be great. Yeah, so there's no. This is not an injury, by the way. It's not an injury that you baby somebody back from. It's an oblique. If he's fine, then he's good to pitch. This is not like, you had Tommy John.
Right, it's not an elbow or a shoulder.
This is just something where they can let him go. So I'm absolutely targeting Flaherty.
All right, Alex Bregman needs another week of rehab. Great, maybe sometime in September we'll see him. Mark Canha left yesterday with eye irritation. Yeah. I also had eye irritation as well from that game. From Sean Manaea! Ryan Yarbrough placed on the COVID IL. Raimel Tapia placed in the IL with a right big toe strain, so that's a new one this year. We haven't gotten to see that one. Reese Hoskins, we mentioned, goes to the IL, and Ross Stripling left to start with the abdominal discomfort. I'm not sure what that means.
I think it's oblique. I think it's technically oblique.
Is that what we're talking? Abdominal discomfort?
They were like left abdominal.
I had abdominal discomfort also from watching Sean Manaea.
Oh, God. I have it right now, so we can deal with that.
Well, you better go to the hospital.
I'm out of here. See you later, guys.
All right, home run calls yesterday. Randy just cannot be stopped. Jose Abreu and Joe, not me. I don't. Oh no,
wait, you did.
I did get. No, it's me.
Muncy.
If I don't see tough guy Joe Pisapia, then I did have Muncy. So look at us.
What's funny is I didn't even realize it, and I asked Mayor, and I was like, "Wait, Mayor, who did Joe have?" He's like, "Joe had Muncy." I was
That's
like,
right, I did.
Curses.
Yesterday was a long day, boys and girls. Yeah. Okay, my day started at 6 and it ended at 9:30 straight through, pretty much. Pygo had Mitch Haniger moves up to 20. So I look at that.
Nice.
Me and Randy. up to 22 right now.
Yes.
Throwing haymakers at each other. I see you, Randy. Oh, this is like Joe Frazier and Ali. This is good stuff right here. I love this. So we're both at 22. D. Gordon Liddy in the dust with Pygo at 20. And then Wonky Penguin at 19. And Dan Harris has 14 still? Or are you up to 15? Did you make it up there?
I'm just not on
You're
the board.
15.
I got 15.
You're 15. You're right behind Turf Durgerson. At least, look, again, just finish ahead of Mayor. That's the only goal now. So like, you might not be able to get to the top of the board. Just beat Mayor. You don't want to go an entire winter having to talk to him about, oh boy, too bad Dinger Dan didn't have as many dingers as I did. You don't want to live that lifestyle.
I don't.
Okay? It's not a lifestyle you want to live.
Very
Trust
fair.
me.
Very fair.
All right, the lifestyle you do want to live is when your body hair is all nice and taken care of, and that, of course, can only happen with the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped. It's got the longest battery life ever in the history of the trimmers. They've also got the Weed Whacker there, the Crop Preserver, the Ball Deodorant, the Crop Reviver, everything from your crop. I don't even know what a crop is, but I'm pretty sure you want to take care of it, and the only way to do that is with the code LEADINGOFF. So go to manscaped.com, get 20% off and free shipping from us, your friends. Again, that code LEADINGOFF. Manscaped.com. Your balls. Well, thank you. And probably your significant other, or maybe just do something for yourself, right? Just take a little self-care, right, Dan? Like after this show's over, I have a football show in the afternoon. I'm going to go get a nice mani-pedi, take care of myself a little bit. You know, could you imagine that? Can you imagine that scene, Joey P with the bald head sitting there up there getting the mani-pedi at the same time? That's an image I'm sure we'll see today on Discord as well.
I told you I already have abdominal pain, Joe. Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse, okay?
I have never had a manicure nor a pedicure. Have you?
Nor have I. No.
Men get these now. It's fine.
They do. It's fine. It's absolutely no problem with it. I've never had one though.
I have not either. I'm just gonna keep it
real.
But
my daughter has. I'm full disclosure. I'm comfortable enough. I can talk about it. My daughter, sometimes when I'm just like the wife is out, she's out with her friends or not. Yeah, she wants to paint my
girls have
my
never
nails.
asked to paint my nails. They never asked to do that.
My daughter did one time. I allowed it. I don't care. Whatever. I have the benefit of not giving a crap what anybody thinks of me. So it's great. I could walk around in sandals with painted toenails. I don't really care. You think it's weird? Don't care.
That makes you a man. That's a tough guy right there. All right.
That's a Joey P. tough guy. Absolutely.
That's a Joey P. tough guy. Oh, my goodness. All right. Here we go. 11 games. There's no good chalk tonight, boys and girls. It's just all over the place. All right. Adam Wainwright, 9-6 on FanDuel, 9-4 on DK. Good matchup, obviously, against the Pirates. You got Frankie Montas, 9.1, 8.7, who I like as a saver. I actually think Montas, considering his price, is actually somebody you want to play in GPP tonight.
Yep.
He's been pretty solid for the most part. Corbin Burns against, look, this is the chalky chalk in terms of cash game arms because it's against the Cubs. Even though it's $700 more on FanDuel for than Kevin Gossman, I would still take Burns because the Cubs lineup is hilarious. Somebody posted a thing on Twitter, I don't know if you saw this, with a screenshot of the, it's like, here's the Cubs infield and outfield, right? Like this before the game starts.
Yeah.
And they're like, who the hell are these guys? And they had that thing from the Major League movie. Who are these, what guys? I was like, and I'm looking, I'm like, honestly, there's a couple I don't know on that list. I have no idea who these guys are. Kevin Gossman, 10-3, 9-9 on DK. So you're getting a discount on Gossman, which is fascinating. Gossman and Montas on DK, not bad tonight because really there's no other place to go unless you want to cheap out on DK all the way to Tariq Skubal at 6-3, which it's against the Orioles. No. It's in Baltimore. I don't really want to do that. Kyle Gibson's at 8-9, 8-8. Alek Manoah's at 9-4, 9-1 against... no, that's too expensive for me. I like Gossman. I like Burns. I like Montas. That's what I like. What about you?
Yeah, on FanDuel, I'm paying up for Burns. Just, again, against Chicago, Jake Arrieta, the win equity is huge. They're a minus 213 as a favorite, the Brewers. So you figure they're probably going to get out of there with a W, as they have been. Jake Arrieta has not been good this season. And the strikeout upside for a guy like Burns in any start is there, especially against the Cubs. I really don't mind Montas whatsoever, and I don't mind Gossman. But if I have to choose one, I'll probably pay up just because the safety is so much on FanDuel for Burns. If I'm going with two of them and I'm saving a little money, I don't mind going with Montas and Gossman together.
Wonky Penguin right in front of the screen door telling us that weather is going to be a concern in Chicago potentially tonight, so keep an eye on that. Good.
It does look like the wind is blowing out, but that part of it. Really?
Yes,
okay.
But Corbin Burns is pitching in.
That's true. That's true. I always trust the Penguin. Always trust the Penguin.
Always trust the Penguin.
Says, whatever she
don't
says.
Go against the Penguin, which is very much like the Blues Brothers, right? You know, gotta respect the Penguin.
Exactly.
That's such a good movie.
It is.
Still funny. You know how some like older comedies don't always hold up? Blues Brothers still holds up. Still very funny.
Put a gif of it in our channel with the 8th, see if he can recognize
Well,
it.
you know what's funny? Of all the like, if you and I went to Halloween together, Jake and Elwood Blues is clearly who we would be. I mean, you're clearly Dan Aykroyd. I'm clearly Belushi. This is amazing.
Clear.
That's definitely who we're going to Halloween out. And I know everybody right now is running to the Photoshop for that one in Discord. Yeah. Just absolutely running. All right. Fun. Stacks tonight. You got St. Louis, you got Toronto. You also got Cincinnati versus Atlanta with a potentially high total there with the pitchers that are on the board. Wade Miley and Touki Toussaint. I don't trust them. Okay? I don't trust easily. And when I do trust, guys like Champagnat betray that trust. I have a real issue here. Yeah, Jared Kelenic. There we go. Lineup builders on FanDuel. 2.3 for Kelenic. 2.3 for Alex Dickerson. Randall Grichuk, 2.3. Those are your 2.3 boys. DK, Harrison Bader, 2.4. Alex Dickerson, 2.7. Lamonte Wade at the top of that order, 3.2. And Jared Kelenic, 2.3. Not a lot of great value. So that's why I kind of want to, especially if you're not going with Burns, I would drop all the way down to Montas in that 9 range. I think it's a much better use of your money. Dan, you know what's funny? Your pick is the name that I had first, and I took it out, and I replaced it with another one. So here you go. Tell everybody who you're calling your shot with tonight to get ahead of Mike Mayer finally after, like, what seems like an eternity.
It has been an eternity, unfortunately. I'm going with Springer. I thought about Vladdy. Yes, it's against Dylan Bundy. I mean, if you want a home run, you go to Dylan Bundy. That's kind of how it works.
That's what I was thinking, too.
I'm going to go with Springer. Springer has been hot lately, especially he's gotten into a groove. I'm going with a homer. I'm calling a leadoff homer. I'll still take any homer I get. I'm talking at lead off the game with a homer, so I'm going to
Springer. I like to get mine out of the way.
I loved it. What'd you say?
I had Springer first, but you gotta love the leadoff homer. That's always the best.
Well, I know when you're going pitch, and like the first spotter of a game and I get the notification of a home run and I'm like, Joe.
Up to 22, baby. Let's go.
Crushing it.
I want this crown. That's what I'm playing for. The home run king is here. Eduardo Escobar. Now, here you go. If there is indeed rain, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to elevate my friend. If that game is rained out, if that game does not happen, I will also take George Springer for my friend Dan Harris. I want to elevate. I want to take him with me for the first time. I don't care if he hates this. I want him to finally learn what friendship is all about. This week is the festival of friendship. We're supposed to be together, hanging out, and he never wants to make the same home run calls with me. Now he can't stop it. If rain happens, this is going to happen. Both of us turn in the keys. Bada boom, bada bing. Right here, the Blues Brothers turning their keys on George Springer. So there you go.
Somebody saved me.
The home run king has spoken.
I do want to make a comment to somebody who's saying in the chat that I always say the wind is blowing out. That's because those are the people I like. I don't target people.
You don't always say it. You say it when it is in certain places. So every night it's blowing out somewhere. Listening.
Ready? In Atlanta, the wind is purportedly blowing in. There you go. So you can have it. And in Seattle, the wind is purportedly blowing in. There you go. Okay? I just say it when it's true. Leave me alone. Whatever.
We are salty today.
I am salty. Because we're the only ones left. This is horrible.
It's all falling on us. It's all falling on us. But look, for more punchy episodes of Leading Off, tune in again tomorrow because we will be here rocking and rolling. Don't forget to go to Manscaped. And also, don't forget, the Leading Off merch is finally here. If you didn't get it already, please go over there to fantasypros.com/shop. And we've got the Leading Off merch. We got the T-shirts there you can get. Do we have hoodies too? We do, right? We got to be a hoodie.
Let me see if I will again. The one thing I will say for everybody is that obviously, as you guys know, August is probably is as a company probably our busiest month. From the dev team to everybody to customer service to everybody, they work incredibly hard. I don't know, so it's not like we just add everything. I don't think I see the hoodies or the hats yet, but they are coming. Yeah, we do have the t-shirts.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. I agree. By the way, you will see if you guys tune into the fantasy podcast. I live in my Fantasy Pros hooded sweatshirt. That's what I basically live in the winter. So I will try to get a Leading Off one as well to get it there. But for now, just t-shirts. But again, go ahead. Easy way to support the show. We can all, we'll all get together. We'll all wear one on a Zoom call or something like that. It'll be amazing.
There you go. It's going to be good time. So, all right, that'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Salty Dan Harris, I'm Joe Pisapia. Still angry, but still here. We'll see you next time, kids.